RiffTrax. Why you always gotta pick RiffTrax? It's your lucky day, it's time for RiffTrax.
Hello, I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And welcome to episode 54 of every RiffTrax short reviewed, where I take 5 RiffTrax shorts in chronological order, review them, and give them a rating between 1 and 5, with the points being good, great, awesome, fantastic, and spectacular, because I don't think a bad RiffTrax short exists. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things after being gone for several months. 2024 was a bit of an odd year for me, and I'm trying to get into a new normal, so we're diving back in with my classic series. And here we've got some great entries from our usual trio, as well as a few from our beautiful comedic ladies. So let's go ahead and jump right into episode 54 of every RiffTrax short reviewed. Number 266, On Guard, Bunco, from June 7th, 2016.
They certainly have their nerve saying I wrote a bad check.
I can understand how you feel, Mrs. Hastings. And that's why I'm calling you to apologize.
On behalf of the whole Bunco community. I mean bank. On behalf of the legitimate and respectable bank community.
Okay, whoa. Bizarre title right there. So the best way to begin our journey here is to define the word bunco, which to my surprise, spelling and all, is in fact a real word. Bunco, noun, a swindle or confidence trick. Verb, to swindle or cheat. And I have to define it for you because the short never does. So the purpose of this short is to warn us to be on guard against people trying to swindle or con us. We open with the narrator showing us how these buncos often occur. The swindlers will leave town to go hunt for people with older sounding names in the phone book of other cities. They find their numbers and addresses and try to con them out of their money. These moralless people will also try to find old people who live alone with no one around who can help them be wary of such frauds. The con artists then call every name on the list just to figure out who's easiest to steal from. And let me tell you, my phone anxiety could never. Like, if somehow I became twisted enough to steal from the elderly, having to call them individually like this would stop me dead in my tracks. Unfortunately, they do find a trusting little old lady and trick her into following instructions leading to her own robbery.
Monsieur Bunco, I will endure no more of your insults. En garde, Bunco!
Most bunco schemes are divided into 4 phases.
Mabel Hanson, prepare to be asked if your refrigerator is running.
It is determined if he has. Phase 3, the victim is persuaded to get the cash into his own hands. And Phase 4, the money is taken away from him.
Phase 5, reconnect with your dad. Forgive him and set yourself free.
Side of the bunco artist. This pin marks the location of the bunco artist's apartment, their center of operation.
Bunco artists often forget where they live.
Victims will be checked against.
Mrs. Johnson, I'm Mrs. Winthrop at the Guardian National Bank.
You can't see it, but I have weird dead eyes.
Your checks. Thank you so much for your cooperation, Mrs. Hastings.
Now, do I call the hit first or the cleaner? I always forget that. Oh, the hit, of course.
Mrs. Hastings, this is a very delicate matter.
Please don't tell anyone I dye my eyebrows.
To keep it in the strictest. Would you mind telling me what your passbook number is?
It's right here, Mr. Buskirk.
Yes, it's 825 Eat My Ass, you thieving son of a
Mrs. Hastings, please.
420. The FBI recommends that we ask the cooperation of one of our trusted depositors.
Hey, business tip, always have a crack team of people staring at you while you talk on the phone.
Very grateful to you. Try to remember every word I'm saying. Leave your house at exactly 2:15.
What? She found a golf cart to be too flashy and dangerous.
Go to your bank and immediately proceed to the most convenient teller's window.
Wear the mask of a past president, rob it, then go surfing.
We then see multiple buncos happening. A woman agrees to buy a huge overpriced set of encyclopedias with the hope of getting commissions off of them. The way it's described is very pyramid schemey. Her husband gets mad, but they talk it out and he mentions falling for his own bunco a few years back. We see another man get conned into getting some waterproofing done on his house with some leftover material these guys happen to have. He happily agrees, only for them to charge him 4 times the amount when it's over, and saying the cops wouldn't be on his side as he let them use stolen materials. And on top of it all, they weren't even stolen materials from another job, just random crap that these two had. Imagine getting fooled by these two doofuses. That's gotta be embarrassing. Even old people can pull bunkos themselves, with two women teaming up to scam another. One lady drops an unmarked bag and starts a conversation. The second scammer picks it up and exclaims how much money is inside and says they'll split it 3 ways if nobody snitches. All the victim needs to do is prove that she's good with money by showing him the money she already has in the bank? What kind of scheme is this? At least the others made some semblance of sense. And finally, the narrator sums up the easy, obviously common sense ways these people could have avoided all of this.
My company can afford to put this brand new encyclopedia in your home absolutely free.
I just need you to ensure the internet is never invented, rendering our product useless.
That every community, Mrs. Brown, you are on that list.
Really? Well, I had no idea.
Don't mean to brag, guys, but I too have been on dozens of secret made-up lists. Oh, yeah.
In what you wear, we know what will happen when your neighbors come into your home and see your new books. When they see your children getting better grades in school.
Ruling the other children, making the world a hell realm in which they're the only kings.
Well, I can hardly wait to tell my husband.
How could you do a thing like this? Don't you read anything before you sign it? Don't you think?
And roast beef? What do you think we are, millionaires?
Oh, David.
Honey, I'm sorry I blew my stack. It's not your fault, it's this.
Our oppressively ugly home, it's killing me.
Will you let me explain? Installment contract with maximum interest. We could have bought 2 sets of books for this price.
Maybe those Hardy Boys novels I've been meaning to tackle.
Oh, honey, you're not stupid. Ever since I signed up for that free exercise machine a couple of years ago.
The George Hamilton-ness enhancer?
Property owners are naturally eager to save money on home improvements. Some, however, are too eager.
Look at this eager idiot, all eager for his newspaper. Calm down, man!
Good as new. All for $100.
Damn my eager nature.
What's the catch? There's no catch. And we just finished a big job here in the neighborhood.
Scammed a guy so hard. I mean...
Top-grade material left over?
Oh, I see. The Bunco machine, so they can bunkify his roof. That's good. You gotta bunkify.
You don't really get what Bunco is, do you, Mike?
No, not at all.
Where's the rest of it?
We were promised cherry cokes and Mars bars.
$100. You trying to pull a fast one, Buster? We said 400. That's right, 400. Well, you said...
I see. So I guess our romantic getaway to Ibiza was just a lie,
You can't put anything
too.
over on me. Just come up with the other 300 or you're in big trouble. That's a threat. I'll have the police here so fast it'll make your head swim.
Even if we do have the same
You do
exact
that.
male
Call the
pattern
cops.
heads.
Tell them you made a deal to fix your roof with stolen materials. Go ahead. But your neighbors know what kind of a fink they got living next door to them.
Fink? Are his neighbors a Wizard of Id cartoon?
Pardon me, dear. I've been admiring your hat.
Would you like to trade it for some low-grade oil?
Oh, I've had it for several years, but I'm delighted that you like it. It's actually a favorite of mine.
Wow, the last season of The Golden Girls got really racist.
Excuse me. You ladies know how long since the last bus passed?
No.
Ugh, they'll take any opportunity to bring up buses since you know who.
Oh, I found it under the bench. Ain't no name on it. Maybe it says inside who it belongs to.
Nope, just Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
At that. You know what you found? $30,000 in gambling money.
All these bets are on baby racing.
Some old
Weird.
gambler's got all that.
Why, I could have found it. Or you could have found it.
You fixing to tell the police about this money, and then they're gonna confiscate it, and you'll get a reward and I'll get nothing.
Hadn't crossed my mind, but that's a great idea.
Unless I was to divide this money amongst the 3 of us. $10,000 apiece? Then I'd bet nobody'd go loud-mouthing to police.
Bunco! I mean, this isn't a bunco.
And I'm 3 of us could...
The supposedly found money belonged to a gambler outside the law.
We just added the needless racism to make it weird for
The
you.
pigeon drops.
Here she comes. There's $10,000 there. You can count it if you want to.
Oh, no need of that, lady.
This scam is so convoluted it hardly matters.
Good faith. It's your turn now, honey.
I'll go with you, dear, because I want to redeposit this right away. Believe you me, you never can tell what happens on the street these days.
Hulking, egg-shaped women scamming your money.
What's that now?
They're nothing, dear.
In cases where the Bunco artist is convicted and sent to prison, Only rarely does the victim recover his money.
Usually the cops take it
So
and buy
how could
beer.
our four Bunco...
No legitimate bank official would advise a depositor to make such a large withdrawal of cash for any purpose.
Yes, I am a greasy ginger, but what's that got to do with
I'll
anything?
personally report this matter to the police.
You should be suspicious of any suggestion that you draw cash out of your account for any purpose.
Buying a
The
home,
procedure is
purchasing
simple
food,
and
please.
safe and effective. They know they'll find plenty of their favorite victims, those of us who believe we can get something for nothing.
I don't know. I'd like to
Those
think
of
my
us who
second
say,
serving of endless
"I'd
breadsticks
never
at
fall
Olive
for
Garden
that
are basically
kind of
free.
I hadn't seen this short in forever, and it's no bunco. I gotta give it a 4.5 out of 5.
He sets up the rules of the game. The victim never knows he's playing a game until he has lost.
Now he
In
sits
this
without his
bank
kidneys in a
examiner, Bunco,
bathtub
high
filled with
priority
ice.
is given to women with
Number 267. Don't Get Angry from June 24th, 2016.
But somehow her feelings of anger didn't go away, and Susan could not read or think of anything she wanted to do.
Well, this being the 50s, there were only three things to do.
That Sue's anger was still...
Anger. It's a common and overall simple emotion. In fact, we probably all get angry at least a couple times a day, whether it be mild frustration at forgetting to turn on the coffee maker or a major blow-up due to a terrible day at work. But some people are definitely better at coping with anger than others, and this short is here to help the non-copers out a little bit. We open with a couple of children who are already upset as the narrator tells us that anger is natural, but can be dangerous if not properly dealt with. So we go back in time to see why each child is so upset. 3 girls are playing jump rope where the jumper and one of the rope handlers are sisters, and they get into an argument about whose turn it is to jump. The argument is instantly heated and blown way out of proportion. Back at home, the older sister Susan can't seem to get over it, and when the little sister Carol comes in, cool as a cucumber, clearly not letting the fight from earlier bother her, Susan's body language tells us she's ready to beat the ever-loving mess out of her sibling, and it's honestly super scary. Thank God their mother's there in a jiffy to sort this out by having Susan talk it out with her. Next, we see a boy named Paul building a toy airplane and getting ready to fly it with Pete, who seems way too old to be playing with a kid Paul's age. Despite promising to play earlier, Pete's decided to spend his afternoon elsewhere, leaving Paul rightfully disappointed.
Paul, get out into the world. Well, yeah, I wouldn't have to get angry if you people would just stop making pretzel bags so hard to open without breaking the pretzels!
Whoa, take it easy.
Not mad. Just disappointed.
Right in the middle of the game.
The game Jump Roping Peasants.
It all started in the park, when Susan and her sister Carol and their friend Priscilla were having a good time jumping rope.
Suddenly, Priscilla pulled a knife.
The argument with Carol made Susan very angry.
Stop the film now and pull the hair of the person next to you to make them angry too.
Let's listen to what she has to say to Carol.
Susan, may I borrow your tennis racket? I want to play with Priscilla. No, you can't use anything of mine. Not ever. I'm so mad at you.
Man, Susan is a hair-trigger rage machine.
I don't think one educational short could fix what's wrong with her.
Rope. She didn't play fair. Oh, I bet this plane will fly for 5 minutes. Better fly longer than Pete.
Yeah, but Pete made his plane out of old roofing tiles, so aim higher.
Don't break it. That's Pete.
I'm not going to fly planes today.
So this is the Pete that Paul wouldn't shut up about, huh? Paul, get out into the wider world and meet more people, son.
Besides that, Jack...
You're a heck of a guy. First you promise, then you break your promise.
Oh, so what?
Look, I'm a grown man with a wife and a job. Why am I playing with you at all?
And disappointment have made Paul... For a moment, Paul stopped and thought about going to the gym, where he hears Mr. Jackson working with a punching bag. But then he decided he didn't feel like going to the gym or like watching Mr. Jackson. So he went home.
Home with its pointless, rage-inducing railing in front of his front door.
Paul wished he could forget his anger. But the more he thought about Pete, the angrier he got.
Me too. The guy gambled on baseball while managing the Reds. There's no excuse for that.
Not Pete Rose, Mike.
Sorry.
The narrator goes on to explain how anger physically manifests itself in each of us. Like how our hearts beat faster, it makes us feel flushed and hot, to the point where it can feel like our blood is boiling within our very core. It's way worse for us to keep our angry emotions inside of us so they can come out in a way that hurts others who weren't even the cause of our anger. For those of us that took a Psychology 101 course in college, you may recall that this is called displacement. It is unfair to both yourself and whoever's unlucky enough to get in your warpath. Examples are given on what the kids could have done to let all of it out in a healthy way instead of, threatening to beat your sister with a library book. But wait, while violence on a person is wrong, the narrator says that imagining being violent towards someone as long as you're beating a punching bag and not the literal person is just fine. Talk about mixed signals.
Hearts beat faster, and the blood seems to rush quicker through the body.
Two weird razor-sharp protrusions grow from the bottom of our ribcage.
Our face gets flushed. Often we feel as though we were like kettles filled with steam. The angrier we get, the stronger the pressure inside of us.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout. I'll cut you, man. I'll swear I'll take you out.
Pressure out. And when Paul got angry at his friend Pete, he too felt as though he were boiling over with anger.
But in a way that was really pretty chill.
Let's think of some different ways of getting rid of them. One way would have been for Susan to tell Carol right away that she was furious at her.
Then they could agree. Pistols at dawn.
Susan then would have soon forgotten her troubles and gone on playing.
Lulling Carol into complacency, then secretly calling the police to have her house swatted 2 weeks later.
Let's see what Paul might have done.
Hi, Mr. Jackson.
Hi, Paul. Boy, it sure feels good to get the old muscles loosened up again. But I thought you were going to be flying your model plane this afternoon.
I'm weirdly aware of all students' afternoon plans.
How'd that happen?
Had Paul started talking to Mr. Jackson as soon as Pete left him, or even decided to punch the bag, his disappointment and anger would have dissolved, and he would have begun to feel better right then.
Yes, give in. Violence is the one true way.
Use those oven mitts, kid.
Perhaps as Paul pounded the bag, he might have thought it was Pete. Every swing was a swing at Pete. Do you think that would have helped Paul get rid of his anger?
There's no tooth fragments or blood flying out of that bag. He needs the real Pete.
Pete telephoned Paul to apologize for changing plans without talking first with Paul.
Or his framed pet drawings.
He knew that he'd been wrong. When Paul told him how angry he'd been, Pete asked if he could come right over and work with Paul on their airplanes.
Then immediately canceled.
Pete! Good time together after all. See what Eddie is doing?
Manifesto?
He is getting rid of his anger by drawing a picture of his aunt, who a few hours before had scolded him.
Wow, Olive Oil and Popeye made a horrible baby.
His mother isn't home yet, so he can't talk to her. But he can make a funny picture of his aunt, and that makes him feel better.
Taping it to her fridge and mailing copies to all her friends will make him feel even better.
His anger. But we must be sure that we don't hurt or make others angry. Because if we remember what happens inside of us when we get angry, we'll be more careful about making others angry.
Do ugly drawings of them. People love that.
When we get angry, we'll think of the best ways to work our anger out of our system.
Total collapse. Got it.
Can you remember some...
Well, the narrator clearly has some issues he needs to work out for himself. The short doesn't leave me with any bad feelings at all, and it gets a 4 out of 5.
Feeling angry is a natural thing, just as natural as feeling glad or sorry. But angry feelings are disagreeable.
Stuff them down, way down into the dark place, and save them for later.
Number 268, Campbell's Soup, The Magic Shelf, from July 5th, 2016.
Here's something I particularly like.
Leaving my family to become a poet in Paris.
Mushroom soup.
Our next 3 shorts feature our lovely riffing ladies, Bridget and Mary Jo, and all 3 are absolute classics in my opinion, so let's get started. Now, unironically, soup is one of my favorite foods, but I'm talking a steaming bowl of ramen, or my Aunt Jackie's baked potato soup, or my mom's beef stew. Canned can be okay, but some of the worst canned are the salt bombs that are Campbell's. It can work for cooking, but for eating, not so much, especially with so many other brands out there these days. But this short is here to prove Campbell's is literal magic in the kitchen, starting off with an actual magician act that goes on for way too long. After he pads for a while, a woman finally steps in to show how the Campbell's company makes soup so incredible and versatile, it should be considered just as magical and impressive as his show. However, if she just saw the same tricks we did, that's not a very high bar. In fact, the bar is so low, this lady says that a can of soup by itself can be a sauce. No, ma'am. No, soup is not a sauce. Can you use Campbell's as an ingredient? Fine, but not when it's flying solo. No way.
Campbell Soup presents There Is Nothing in This House to Eat.
Some time ago, while I was visiting the island of Trinidad, I saw a very remarkable Hindu magician. Take this pitcher of ordinary milk.
Drink it and Viola. Abdominal cramping.
We'll now fill the glass, and we will again cover the glass with a silk. Many times magicians are always asked why they happen to do things undercover, but we have to sometimes. So 1, 2, 3, and the glass and milk disappear. And you're probably wondering where the milk went.
No, I'm wondering where the soup is. What's going on?
Now I'd like to show you my latest very colorful novelty, the rice bowls of Fu Manchu.
Well, seriously, Mary Jo, why is this happening?
I know. We might have gotten a mislabeled movie.
Unless he's going to make some double noodle right about now. I think you're right.
We'll get through it. Yes, I think backing away is a good idea. Quietly step away. A young David Copperfield saw this and said, I want in.
Now, do you mind if I do a little magic?
You? Why, of course not. Go right ahead.
The magic of calling security!
Take a bowl, fill it with tomato soup.
Finally!
Basis for a quick app, but according to a nationwide survey, the most popular is, that's right, soup, sandwich, and dessert.
Thank God.
I don't know about the rest of the country, but it's certainly the most popular with me.
And Mother.
Where in the world did you...
Soup is more than soup.
It's an alternative lifestyle.
Meals. It lends color to your table. It's a time-saving ingredient in quick cookery. It's an ideal, convenient sauce for many dishes.
It's why there is something instead of nothing.
And a full soup shelf.
Of course. Why didn't I think of it? Campbell Soups.
Every kitchen needs an Andy Warhol installation.
Simply season to taste.
Yes, I'm positive it needs more salt.
Again and again, this supposed cook just slathers soup on any dish to say it's sauced and flavorful. She actually insults both of my cultures, first saying Campbell soup can make Hispanic dishes better, then she goes on to do something so blasphemous it makes me want to vomit. She uses tomato soup to make, and I can't believe I'm having to say this, spaghetti sauce. And first of all, it's not actually called spaghetti sauce or red sauce or even marinara. It's sugu, okay? Sugu. And if you dare call it gravy in my presence, I will gut you like a fish. And secondly, if I ever went to eat at someone's house and they said they used tomato soup as their sugu, I would simply gather my things, walk out of that door, and their life in utter, disgusted silence. She even goes on to desecrate mushrooms. I love mushrooms, but even I wouldn't go so far as to use cream of mushroom soup to make, I kid you not, mushroom muffins. She then makes salads with soup layers and even a cake with tomato soup inside of it. Like, is this lady okay? Do we need to get her some help? Maybe we should start a therapy fund for her.
See? It adds zip and color to beef, pork, and fish.
Gray is a color.
Do you like Spanish sauce? Well, try it made with tomato soup. It's the quick, easy way to make Spanish rice and Spanish omelet. It adds the zest of the world's finest tomatoes, carefully blended seasonings, and creamery butter.
Butter.
And as a basic ingredient, add 1/3 of a cup of milk for mushroom cream sauce.
And mushrooms, cream and flavor, and you're all set.
Over vegetables, it's a delicious, economical treat to tempt lagging appetite.
Caused by so much soup.
For cream of chicken sauce, add 1/3 of a cup of milk to the soup. Cream of celery soup sauce is excellent with fish.
Is it?
Use half a can of Campbell's tomato soup in your favorite meatloaf for the rich flavor, color, and moistness you are seeking.
Color's good in food, but not in our schools.
Soup, heated and seasoned, and tomato soup is just the thing for a rich, full-flavored spaghetti sauce.
Use soup to dilute a rich, flavored spaghetti sauce.
Taste. It shortens the sauce cooking time and is so good.
If you haven't eaten in months.
The rich, ripe red color of the... Another tempting baked dish made with chicken soup is chicken pie.
Did tempting mean something different back then?
The extra rich chicken flavor makes this a favorite with good cooks everywhere.
And you won't even need to chew it.
Cream of mushroom soup. Another quick treat with mushroom soup is mushroom muffins.
What?
Use condensed cream of mushroom soup as the liquid in quick breads like these.
Why does Mommy cry and put cream of mushroom soup in everything?
I don't know, Timmy.
One way to make this cake was made with tomato soup.
Cake?
Your cake will have a spicy, mellow flavor and retain moisture longer when you
Some
use
sick
condensed tomato
shit.
soup instead of milk. Add unflavored gelatin to cream of chicken soup. Mix thoroughly and pour it into a mold. Then place the chicken layer in the refrigerator until the salad is firm.
Or oven, whatever.
When the chicken layer... And have you tried salad dressings made with soup?
I don't recommend it.
Just mix oil, vinegar, seasonings, and tomato soup for an excellent French dressing.
That surrenders immediately.
It's good on vegetable or fruit salad. Add
Soup and a salad is a favorite luncheon all over the country.
Spinsters cry slightly less when dining.
Another, for soup helps to make every meal a delightful meal.
Lies,
Total
lies.
lies.
Let's go.
No, wait, Mary Jo, I'm making some lunch.
What?
Here we are. Cream of shingle soup.
Oh, thank you, Bridget. Such a hearty and flavorful way to start our morning.
Well, you're welcome, Mary Jo. Mary Jo, soup is more than soup. Soup is wonderful for a quick snack or a light meal, or as a way to create concrete, and you can put it into a
This short
product.
really got to you, didn't it?
Soup martini?
Bye, everyone. Okay, put the soup down, Bridget.
Just sip
Let's
it.
just
It's good.
Just sit.
It's more than soup.
Breathe.
This short is absolutely wackadoo, especially for what you'd assume would be a simple cooking short, but it's one of my absolute favorites by Bridget and MJ, and it gets a 5 out of 5.
You know, once you get magicians in your kitchen, you can never get rid of them.
Ain't that the truth?
Number 269, Duties of a Secretary from July 14th, 2016.
Carelessness is the one unforgivable sin.
Forgive me, Father, for I have carelessness.
Carelessness is
Getting your first job. These days, it's nearly impossible to get any job at any stage of life, but it used to be that your first job in the real world was the most nerve-wracking, and that's where we meet our protagonist of the short, Miss Hayes, a young woman right out of school starting work as a secretary for a real estate man named Mr. Harmon. She seems to get a good debriefing from his first secretary who's leaving the state, and most of the job seems to be down to common sense. As someone who previously worked in an office as an accounting assistant, I'm here to tell you that in office, common sense is not that common. And unfortunately for Miss Hayes, even her subconscious doesn't believe she's equipped for the job. Even though she reads her job syllabus right before bed, she spends the entire night dreaming of all the ways she could screw up. The film takes a good few minutes to show the agony of taking dictation and mailing the letter while completely ignoring any request of the boss and then forgetting the picture you're supposed to enclose, and the music would make you think she's about to get caught committing a murder. Granted, if she was busy, I could see making the mistake, but even in her dream, this is her only task. And then she can't find a file within one singular file cabinet. I mean, even if something's misplaced and you thumb through all of them, it's not gonna take you that long.
You're lucky to get a good job like this, just out of school. I know.
I know.
I only hope I can hold it. With your school record, you'll do fine. Just watch your P's and Q's. Oh, and don't forget, there are lots of secrets in the real estate business.
Like what houses are sleeping around?
Never say a word about Mr. Harmon's business or his plans. Never. To anybody.
Not even Mr. Harmon.
I'll remember. Where I'm going to have a tough time filling your shoes. Don't worry about it. He won't expect too much at first.
Oh, that's my kind of
Later on,
job.
you'll be depending on your own judgment. Making appointments. Editing letters. Even writing them yourself.
Being chased around the desk.
Oh, it's not really so tough. Just keep your head and use your common sense.
Oh, I'm out.
Here.
Mr. Gray began to change the typewriter ribbon, letting the thin strip of feathery fabric cascade over her wool-suited beclad bosom.
and letters arranged for the employer's attention in the order of their relative
Oh, it's the Duties of Secretary podcast.
To interrupt dictation, since the dictator will lose his train of thought.
And Stalin will be really irritated.
The letter.
The music, is that taps? Jeez.
Mr. J.B. Grant.
How does paper work?
Mr. J.B. Grant. Apex Corporation, 103 West 7th Street, City.
Okay, what did you say after
Thank you
Mr.?
for your letter of the 8th. One of them, a house on Worcester Road,
How do you spell Worcester, Mr. Harmon?
Did she not see this film?
Worcester. Worcester. Formerly belonging to the late Albert Robertson.
Robinson or Robert?
Oh, I don't know whose side I'm on at this point.
And Miss Hayes.
Enclosure.
No, enclosures.
One of the most common types of carelessness is forgetting enclosures.
Will you just do it, narrator?
I can't look.
Oh, cover my eyes!
Is it... Can I...
I guess I forgot this.
I'll just put firing me on your calendar, sir.
And to think I pay her $1,000 a year.
Well, sure is matte painting out today.
Morning, Miss. Is there anything to go out?
Yes, me!
This letter, if you wait just a second.
Oh no, Bridget. Do you see what she... Oh no, I can't. She didn't address it.
She didn't?
I don't think she addressed it.
She had to have.
Oh no.
She didn't?
Bye-bye.
This is harder for me to watch than Saw!
I know.
Miss Hayes?
Oh, yes, Mr. Harmon?
The file on the Johnson farm?
No thanks, I'm full.
I can't seem to find it anywhere. I've been through all the J's and the I's and the K's, and I just can't find it. I don't know where it could be.
Maybe it's filed under "You're fired."
Now this next one, especially since in a freaking dream, shows how prejudiced Miss Hayes is. An older woman steps into the office, and Hayes immediately assumes she's a beggar selling shoelaces, and lies that her boss isn't in the office. Mr. Harmon, rightfully furious, informs her that the lady was a kind, rich woman he was about to close a huge deal with, and she just ruined it. Then she forgets to flip the page in his planner, so Mr. Harmon isn't in the office to take an appointment. And when the guy shows up, Miss Hayes tells him not just exactly where her boss is, but the big deal he's making down to the letter. Even in slumber, she can't keep a secret. And to top it all off, she forgets to lock the office and they're robbed overnight, which makes headlines all over town. She wakes up and finally realizes she has a chance to do the job right. She opens the office quickly and quietly, getting everything ready for the day, and we see every second of it. And as was to be expected, she's able to answer calls and start typing just fine. But then comes the big test, real-life dictation. But thank the heavens, she's A, able to keep her mouth shut until Mr. Harmon is finished talking, and B, he's much kinder in reality than in her imagination, and he encourages her to double-check things with him, the kind of support most of us can only dream of having in our superiors these days. And to top it off, she beat her prejudices in her dreams, as a clearly Mexican guy shows up. Don't worry, I'm Mexican, I can say that. And she takes his request seriously right away. Talk about a happy ending.
Hello, I'm looking for your little dog, Toto.
No, Mr. Harmon's not in the office. Was there something? Will he be back soon?
Before I die.
Tax is the first record.
What was it you wanted to see him about? I wanted to sell my shoelaces, perhaps?
Ouch!
Oh, no, not shoelaces. Sell my...
Oh, Miss Hayes, would you bring me the paper?
But you said he wasn't here. I'd better go somewhere else.
I shall take my unguents and fare thee well.
Did you tell that lady I was out?
Yes, but I said it in French, so it sounded nice.
Yes, of course.
That was Miss Courtney. Miss Abigail Courtney.
The mother of my homing
Slightly
pigeons.
eccentric. She can afford to. She has $30 million.
Wow, Bridget, that's more than I make in a
10
year.
years I've been trying to persuade her to sell her old mansion. Nice work, young lady.
You're welcome. Can I have tomorrow off?
I mean, 10 years, it's kind of on him.
You
He's not really, close the deal.
Right.
Never take chance.
I have no record of an appointment, Mr. O'Brien.
Why, I made the date a week ago.
I'm taking him to make out point.
23rd at 4:30.
Wednesday?
Bridget, look away, look away.
Wednesday!
Let me hold you. I'll hold you.
You can at least tell.
Getting ready to close a big deal, Mr. Harmon said.
A big deal?
The old Goodman Brothers factory.
He's undercutting some realtor named O'Brien. Oh.
Very interesting.
Oh, and I've probably ruined another big deal.
Oh, don't worry. There can't be much commission on a waterfront property.
No biggie.
Hello?
The Millers lost their house on a short sale. I mean...
Are there any messages? Max,
The office of George Harmon, prominent realtor, was robbed last night of $20,000 in cash and many valuable papers.
This is an intense dream.
The fault of Barbara Hayes.
Am I married yet? I know this is going to be an average day at the office, and that is my nightmare.
I know it. You know, I could live with myself knowing I screwed that guy's business up, but I don't think I could live doing this job.
I know.
Although I like to wear hats.
You look great in hats.
Thank you.
Okay, only 7 hours and 57 minutes left. Pencils here. Okay. The Bland Realtor Program.
Starring Mr. Harmon.
Will you come in, please, and bring your book?
I'm pretty boring, so you'll need something to read.
Excuse me, Mr. Harmon.
I kind of blanked out.
Is Mr. McDonald's name MC or MAC?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's MC. I'm glad you asked, Miss Hayes. Please always ask me when you're not sure about something. Guessing is just a waste of time. And I don't really bite little girls' heads off when they ask questions.
Oh, I know you don't. Thanks.
Mr. Harmon, where do you keep the toner?
I can't believe you just asked me that!
Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much.
Had you an appointment?
No, but I want to talk to him.
If you'll give me your name, I'll find out if he can see you.
Lauren McSwarthy.
May I ask what you want to see him about, Mr. Germer?
Building I want to buy.
Oh, well, if you sit down, please.
She grabs her purse.
Mr. Harmon, this is Mr. Germer.
Hello, Mr. Germer. Won't you sit down?
I want you to know I love George Lopez.
While being a secretary in such a simple fashion with no internet no longer exists in such a way, I'm glad this short exists, if only to hear Bridget and Mary Jo riff. And this one gets a 4.5 out of 5.
Mary Jo, I think I could do this job. I'm familiar with the alphabet. I could write and type a letter if I had all day. And I know I would be good at making sure a safe is locked.
Well, here's a listing on Monster.com. Do you think you could use a variety of software packages such as Microsoft Word, Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel, Access, etc. to produce correspondence and documents and to maintain presentations, records, spreadsheets, and databases?
I could empty ashtrays and be nice to guys with mustaches.
You're hired.
Number 270, Girls Are Better Than Ever, from July 29th, 2016.
Gets me, really gets me.
Lectures, lectures, lectures.
Morning till night.
They're always telling you what to do.
What a democracy.
Lot they care what
I want to hang out with these girls.
You never get a chance to have your own opinion.
By its title, it sounds like it's going to be a celebration of women. This is going to empower girls and show them how awesome and strong they can be. Is what an ignorant person who hasn't seen the short yet would say. But no. This short, headed by the American Dairy Council and some physical fitness group, is meant to neg girls into feeling lesser so they'll want to work out to feel better. Yes, the male narrator picks on young high school-age girls to make them feel bad about themselves enough to want to empower themselves. And as someone who grew up her whole life being told she was obese and undesirable when I just had baby fat, that just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that leads to a lifetime of eating disorders, obesity, and self-hatred. So I have a personal bone to pick with this short. Not to mention, there's literally a pedophile joke in this piece of shit. Plus, the narrator says that these teens shouldn't want to look like this forever. And I'll tell you what, when I look back to when I was a teen, I wasn't anywhere near the blubber-filled whale that I am now, but I still felt that way and hated myself then too. What I wouldn't give to go back to what I looked like then.
And it turns out they don't just want to have fun. Oh, I knew there had to be a catch.
Now she's worth looking at. Not particularly beautiful, and
Whoa,
definitely not a glamour
hey.
girl. But she sure glows with vitality and well-being that turns the head and catches the eye.
The film's sexually harassing her.
I couldn't care less if I had muscles or anything. After all, you know, we're not exactly living in the dark ages.
Oh, thanks for your input, Joan Kuzak.
Yeah, how strong do you have to be a button pusher?
This movie's pushing a lot of buttons for me.
I'll tell you what.
to have the time and the energy to enjoy yourself, to feel really alive through the skill of sports. That's our program, Learning to Have Fun.
But don't major in it. You'll never get a job.
So I ask you, when you're left-footed, fumble-handed, muscle-bound, and not with it, how does it feel?
Normal.
Sort of dumb.
But pull that same boo-boo when you're 16, and you know what? You'll get plenty of attention. But who needs that kind?
Don't watch Mary Jo.
There has to be a better way.
How about teaching these men to respect others and mind their own business?
Come on, those girls are playing tennis and they're just sitting there.
Now, whoever says that a person's body makes their life.
Well, that's what you call a half-truth. Like that bikini's a half a bathing suit. By the way,
I'm gonna get you.
do I have to tell you, every day competition is getting younger, and every day, in every way, you're getting older?
Scram, Larry.
Sicko.
Oh, this whole thing is stupid. Ridiculous. Well,
why don't we kill the narrator?
Said parents, but I never really think about growing up. Just forget it.
I don't even want to be in your condescending sexist movie.
Tell me if I'm...
And the parade of straw men, or straw women, I guess, goes on, as the narrator shames and shames and shames. Here comes the talk of diet, and let me tell you, when MJ mentioned a food journal, I about broke out in a cold sweat from the memories. And of course, with this Dairy Council approved short, they make sure to show lots of shots of said milk-based products. What if these girls are lactose intolerant or have dairy allergies? What then? Are they destined to be unathletic slobs who can only dream of being a housewife with a toddler? Also, the girls point out that being a high schooler in America is exhausting, as it's 8 hours of school plus homework, plus they're supposed to socialize, plus be part of their family, plus eat right and exercise all at 15 years old, plus know how we want to spend the rest of our lives before our brain is even close to developed. We do hold teens, girls and boys, up to ridiculous standards in this country, and this short is making that standard for girls even higher.
You've always thought about growing up, and kind of wanted it too. You made believe you were.
Oh, that dress doesn't go with that stroller.
You tried your hand at the tricks of the trade.
What is that supposed to mean?
You raved and
I'm escaping the patriarchy!
Go, go, go!
with decent eating habits.
With plenty of
I
white
wonder
Russians.
when she gets to your advantage. Your daily diet is something for the books.
It's called a food journal.
15 chips. Pepsi Clear. 1 half fry. Pickle chip. Half fry. 1 full fry. Mary Jo, are you writing this down?
Got it. Yep.
It's not what you do eat. It's what you don't eat that worries us.
Why won't the kids today eat Waldorf salads?
Forgive me, you're tired, irritable, energyless.
Pantsless.
You just get hungry, and then you complain we're fat.
This girl ate a coney dog. Now
That's
she's
up to you.
blind.
A
Come on, move it, Lardo. Come on.
You make a mile an hour. And boy, did you ever sweat. You know, after that, you're just plain beef.
Quickly administer
What do you
cheese.
expect? You wouldn't treat your dog the way you do yourself.
I'm the dog.
Rob him of his bone.
Mine.
Cheat him of his snooze. Deny him his exercise.
Mine.
But that's all a dog has to do anyhow.
If you recall, you weren't born knowing how to put up your hair in rollers.
But the years of schooling paid off and your parents are proud.
You don't know what the pressure's like. Passing tests. and
Haters
getting
gonna
more
hate,
tests
hate,
and
hate.
Green and good grades. Aren't you always yakking over and over again?
Get your education. You have to have an education.
Annoying voices. You have to have annoying voices.
Education. As the President's Council on Physical Fitness says, we can no longer consider anyone fully educated until he knows how to keep in the best possible physical condition at all times.
President Kennedy will personally inspect this field hockey team.
It really is worth it. Sir, would you be good enough to give me your age, the opportunity to learn the skills of sports they can play and enjoy
Now,
throughout
Mary Jo,
life?
I've found that it's almost
Participating regularly
impossible
in
not to
sports
notice
and
people's
exercise
butts while
is
they
the most
bowl.
enjoyable way to
Impossible
maintain
or
physical
difficult for you?
Oh, yeah.
Not much of a life, huh? Anybody here over 20? But honestly, girls are better than ever.
And they needed a lot of improvement, so it's very exciting.
While Bridget and Mary Jo's quips are therapeutic, I just can't give this short a super high rating, and I know it's because of my own personal bone to pick, but it's honestly kind of hard to watch as someone that has dealt with my issues of weight over the years. So even though the riffs are good, and I would encourage everyone to see it, in the end I've got to give this one a 2 out of 5.
This is the best time you'll ever have to learn to mix business with pleasure.
What's
Make a
going on?
move
Like,
to a
what should she
fine
save her Dairy Queen
Train your
receipts?
muscles
Like,
to the
this
skills
is so
they'll
off
always
mission.
remember.
I don't like this guy.
So get off the sidelines now.
As always, thank y'all so much for watching, and special thanks to my amazing Patreon supporters, including Kevin Nata and Isabella Summit. I'm sorry I haven't been around here or on Twitch for the last few months. Life has had some ups and downs lately, and it's been tough to get into the video-making headspace. Thankfully, I always have Riffs and my amazing interweb community to cheer me up, so remember, I appreciate and love each of you that hang out here and give my videos a watch. You truly make doing this so much more fun than it already is. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe, because it really helps me out and gets me found by other Misties and RiffTrax fans out there. If you want to see more of me, I also have a bunch of links below to be sure to check out. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.
Cheese is better.